Good afternoon, traders. This is Tony D from the easyMarkets dealing room in Sydney. Update for you today. The market's volatility has picked up dramatically since Friday. Where on Friday we did have the market breaking 115. The contagion and the issues out of Lira, so Turkey at the moment, is getting to the extreme level. We've seen dollar Lira drop 10% today and 20% on Friday. And this is really leading to concerns that all emerging markets are going to have some sort of outflows triggered by this change in value from the Turkey, and that fear has been realized and crystallized today. And dollars are jumping 10%, which is a huge move for a currency not in the firing line, just taken down by proxy there. And you are seeing this threat and fear of contagion coming through into most risk assets. Until dollar lira stabilizes, it's very likely that you are going to see some pretty heavy selling coming through on anything that's associated with Turkey. So why is the euro getting hit? Euro has a lot of, well, euro banks, Eurozone banks have a lot of debt in lira over there. So to Turkish companies, these guys are going to have trouble repaying now on the new exchange rates. So there is potential for bad loans to be generated there. And in terms of technically breaking that 115 level, that opened the door for further downside. So the acceleration here that you're seeing on the euro really does sort of spell a little bit of down period. Now, in terms of levels there and what the market can be looking at, we've actually reached some pretty interesting levels fairly quickly. So, we're looking at that 113.50 level coming through. Coming through on the way down in previous times, and then look in terms of finding a range and trading in a range, because the euro likes to do that. 112 to 115 could be the new range. 110 perhaps on the lower end, but below 110 perhaps you'll have to see this crisis get a little bit more serious than it currently is. Although it is very serious, it's still inside the emerging market still, so it hasn't really jumped across too much in terms of stocks. You've seen some mild selling in the DAX, mild selling in the FTSE, but nothing there to get spooked to the point where this is not going to come back down, or you're getting warnings from, say, US central banks. Now, you are getting warnings from the ECB regarding some of the Eurozone banks, again asking them to double check their exposures. But this can all go away fairly quickly if Turkey was to relent and go back to some of the policies known to stop this sort of sell-off. So just we'll bring up the euro lira chart just quickly. So dollar lira here. You can see on the weekly that we are having a dramatic sell-off there. But what can really stop this is both ending its diplomatic tariff with the US and also raising interest rates. Both of those things which the current President Erdogan doesn't want to do, but could be forced to in some way back down. Otherwise, in terms of running a country into bankruptcy, that's really never happened before. So, the backing down of some sort should happen. It's just about what the pain point is. And so far we tested that big 7 level, which was sort of the line in the sand for where this gets issues for banks. Now, data-wise this week is a lot of Aussie data. Nothing today so much, but you are still going to see lots of volatility given that the market stepped up in volatility. All the options pricing are suggesting things are going to heat up as well. And the VIX is ticking higher. So, the headline risk is really coming from the Eurozone and Erdogan at the moment. That's really where you're going to get the movement from. The chances of recovery in something like the euro yen are very real given the size of the selling, but you still have to see things stabilize before you can jump on that. In the short term, if you do break below this 125 level, you have to go all the way back to 120 and then potentially lower if things heat up. Alright, so I'll be updating you each day with what's coming up. We will focus on some of the economic data later in the week, a lot of Aussie data. But in the short term anyway, we are looking just at the headlines coming out of emerging markets, and in particular Turkey, seeing what they're going to say today. They've always announced a couple of things this morning. It was a little bit too late to stop the 10% drop at the open, but they announced some limiting of swaps by banks. But really we want to hear the magic word on interest rates. So that's the sort of a big reversal pattern where you might see the market stabilize at significantly lower levels than we're coming off. Alright guys, if you do want to have a further chat, contact us on the number below. If you're not a member of the easyMarkets dealing room, sign up on the link below and you will get access to a dealer like myself to assist you.